Welcome back to the Sandy Woods Podcast. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Kyle.
How's it going?
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Rough day at work?
You could probably drink like 20 of those. But I only drink one.
This makes it a little bit better, doing this on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We got episode 11.
11 sounds weird.
11 does.
It doesn't even seem like it, but we're rolling.
What's the stat? 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 7?
I've never
I think that's
looked up the stats of podcasts.
I think that's what Lance told us, but on our conversation. So it's cool, man.
This means we have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. This is gonna be my favorite one by far. We've got some interesting stuff.
This one's definitely different.
I'm excited. We're gonna have a special guest on. We'll introduce him right before we bring him on. A different type topic that we're going to be talking about, and one that I think will pop off on YouTube, and I think it'll be interesting for a lot of hunters. All right, so we got a special guest today on Sandy Woods. We've got James here. James, how's it going? I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Doing pretty good, man. I appreciate y'all having me. I've been enjoying everything y'all been putting out so far, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, same with you, man. It's awesome. You know, the community you've built with your podcast, you know, it's amazing. And obviously me and Talon are followers, so we'll continue to follow. But give a quick introduction about yourself and tell us what you're all about.
I appreciate that, man. I really do appreciate y'all following it. So, like I said, my name's James Hudson. I'm from Appomattox, Virginia. Lifelong Appomattox guy. I've been here my whole life. I am a hardcore houndsman. I am deep into it. I run the Hounds Tales Podcast. You probably see the banner back behind me. I've been doing that. So it started actually with me and two other buddies that we started it. We were getting into the field trialing community, into the competition dog hunting side of things, and we decided we wanted to start a podcast on our journey, just kind of learning more and more about the sport itself, and kind of wanted to take people along with us, and just kind of a fun idea. And then kind of developed into more and more, and people started kind of hitting on it a little bit. And then we did 18 episodes, and me and my wife, we found out she was pregnant, and I was changing a job. Them two were changing a job, so it was bad timing. So we just took a break, and we said, let's get our lives back together and figure out where we want to go with this thing. And I picked it back up by myself in October of last year, and man, ever since then it's been a roller coaster ride. It's been awesome. It's taken off really well. I'm very I don't even know the right word to say. I'm very thankful for how good it's taken off, and I get a lot of positive feedback. And the main goal behind it now is, yes, I want to continue to follow my journey through the field trialing world, but my main focus on it is to put a positive outlook on the dog hunting community, for still hunters, for landowners, for that kind of thing. I want to prove that dog hunters are not just a bunch of dumb rednecks running around in trucks with dogs in the back of it. Like, we actually are common people and have a good respect for the land and ethical hunting.
Right.
Yeah, love to hear that.
And that's why we're here too, because we are still hunters as well, and we have a lot of people that follow this page that are still hunters, and what better way to get your persuasion across and give out your good points on why dog hunting is good for the hunting community, right?
Right.
So I'm excited to kind of jump into those topics. And by the way, happy belated birthday! I forgot to tell you that yesterday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I feel like I need one of what you're drinking right there. I should have spiked this Dr. Pepper down here a little bit before I come down.
That's funny. Maybe we'll have you in one time. But yeah, again, appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy. I know you've been traveling a lot, so just to talk to you for 30 minutes is really cool. So
yeah, man, I appreciate y'all giving me the time.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. So we're gonna start with some rapid fire questions. Okay. So
cool.
So my buddy Talon and I will switch back and forth, and basically this is just to kind of get us going, get us loose a little bit. And don't put much thought into it. Just whatever pops up to your mind. It's going to be a pretty much A or B answer.
Right.
And we try to add some funny ones as well, just not all serious, So we'll reel them off, and we've got close to 15 or so.
Yeah, I guess.
So whatever pops up first, don't be afraid to yell it out.
Absolutely.
You want to start it?
Yeah, I'll start it off.
All right.
All right, rapid fire. All right, I'll start it off. All right, 2 3/4 or 3-inch shells. What are you shooting?
3-inch.
There we
Always.
go. Walker or Beagles?
Walkers. We got to go fast.
There you go. Where are you putting them? Cut over or swamp?
Cut over. Got to wake the deer up.
There you go. Opening day or the last day?
Ooh, that's tough. Last day.
Ooh, I like that. We going for a wide or a tall buck?
Tall and thick.
Tall and
I like
thick.
that. Like that.
All right, you can go ahead.
All right. Are you a morning or evening hunt guy?
Morning.
High pitch bark or low pitch bark?
Low. I coon hunt. I like a coon dog bark.
I
Give me
love
that
it.
low.
Ooh.
All right. One big chase or multiple small chases?
Multiple smalls.
Okay. Hunting in rain or snow?
Snow.
Riding in a truck or taking a stand?
Riding.
Cool. Shoot does early season or shoot them late season?
Late season.
Better deer hunting, east of Richmond or west of Richmond?
Ooh. I don't have a lot of experience east of Richmond, so I'm gonna say west.
Yeah, that's kind of why I put it on here, right? Being from Appomattox, right? So flat ground or hilly terrain?
Hilly.
All right. Competitions or live action hunting?
Oh man. I'm gonna catch a lot of slack for this. Competitions.
Okay, I like it. All right. Are you just a straight coffee guy in the morning before a hunt? Or are you a sausage, egg, and cheese combo guy from Hardee's?
Straight coffee.
I like that
And
answer.
take the toilet paper with you.
Amen.
All right. Yes for dog hunting on Sundays or keep it how it is?
No Sundays.
Okay. All right. Keep season how it currently stands or extend one more week into January?
Extend it.
I like that. All right, that's all we got. But yeah, that's cool, man. And it's cool because we kind of get a scope of, where you're at, and, everybody
Right.
kind of gets a gauge on where you're going to come from. So, yeah, we've been
That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that.
yeah, I think what did we start that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago? So, yeah, I mean, it gets everybody loose, right? It's fun,
Right.
Trying to, obviously the topics and the questions are the most important, right? But try to add some fun things in along the way.
Oh yeah.
So-
I'm with you. I like it.
All right, so we got one more little, I call them games, but little openers, right? So
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen here, all right? And basically we're gonna play a game called Name That Breed, okay? Name that
God.
hunting dog breed, okay? So
Y'all don't try to make me look stupid.
I'm putting you on the spot, all right? So obviously we know you're a dog, you're a deer, and mostly deer hunter. So some of these are not deer hunting dogs, but I figured
Right.
since you're in the industry, you may know a thing or two about a couple dogs.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
right.
We kept them pretty easy.
Yeah, that were good.
All right, so name that hunting dog. All right, you ready?
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
What we got?
Lab. Chocolate lab.
There you go.
Walker.
Foxhound.
Sound. Yep. American Foxhound.
Yep.
I'd be a tree and walker, I believe.
Yep.
Yep.
Blue tick.
Yes, sir.
God, I hate them things. GSP.
Those are my favorite dogs, man. What the heck?
Things are-
God, I hate them things. They're
things
so
are
freaking hyper.
crackheads.
Hey, they're goofy, man. They're fun, but
Oh,
they're
yeah.
goofy.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's off the wall. English setter.
Okay, all right. I feel like I should know that one, but I do not instantly know it.
No, okay. Plot hound.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah. I'm used to the darker colored ones.
Right.
The light skin one got me. It looks like it's a pity, ain't it? I forget what the actual name of them is, but it's like some kind
Mountain cur. Yeah.
of mountain cur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a mix of it.
Form of. Yeah. Well, I got one of them. Golden retriever.
Figure we say the easiest one for last, right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, God. Damn beagles.
The slow runners, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I made that at work. I made that at work today. My boss came up behind me. He goes,
What are you doing?
he's like, what are you doing? I was like, just looking at some dogs. He was like, he was like, you buying one? I was like, no, I'm just making, a PowerPoint for him. He was like, why? I was like, don't worry about it. I'll get back to work. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Good stuff, man. That's awesome.
Love it.
All right, so we'll jump into the good stuff here. All right, if you're good with that.
Yep, I'm down for it, man.
I think Talon's got his question on here first, so why don't you lead us off, Talon?
All right. Yeah. Let's see. I got a couple of them down
We'll
here.
go through all of them, though, so don't even worry about it.
I'm picking out which one I'm gonna do first. Wow. All right. So, is your focus more on the preparation of the dogs going in the early season, or are you kind of more geared up for bow and muzzleloader?
So as far as like and this is where it gets funny, like, and it kind of hits on your question earlier in the rapid fire. We were kind of talking, said something about the extending a week. My focus on preparation is training as hard as I can until bow season comes in, until the first day of youth day, and then my dogs are in the lot. That is a respect thing that I think every dog hunter should have. That is guys that want to still hunt. It is their time. You got 4 weeks in Virginia. I don't know other states and how their seasons roll, but you got 4 weeks of the bow season, then you got your 2 weeks of muzzleloader in our area. So those 6 weeks, my dogs are in the lots, resting. So my preparation is train, push as hard as I can right there about a month or so before those seasons come in. That way they can rest for those 6 weeks. They're not strung out, they're not crazy, and it gives the respect of the bow hunters and the muzzleloader hunters, and gives them their time to hunt in peace without dogs ever having a chance of interrupting them. So
absolutely,
that's where my focus goes. And then once our season opens, it's getting them back in that shape, because 6 weeks of downtime does take it out of a dog.
Right.
And that's why I said earlier in the rapid fire, that's why I like late season, because usually your dogs are in better shape. They're ready to go. They can go for multiple drives a day, and you shouldn't have any problems. And plus, that kind of everybody's preseason, early season jitters are down too. It kind of gets everybody a little more focused, and it's not quite as a cluster or nothing like that.
That's a great answer. Yeah, that's always been our question. Like, how do you, just like anything else, you got to prepare for stuff, right? I know dogs just don't go from the last day of one season right back into the first day. There's preparation and training to it. So,
right,
that's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
So obviously, Talon and I know a little bit about the hunting side of dogs, right? We're not, we don't have our own dogs, but just being in the hunting industry, we know. But what we don't know about is the competitions that you do frequently, especially in the off season, which I think is really interesting, right?
Right.
So just tell us what they are, how they work, how does a dog get judged on, like a first, second, third place finish? Like, just tell us, in a short summary, how it all is put together and how it works. All
right. So I'm going to try to brief this down as tough as I can.
No problem.
It's, so pretty much there's two forms, and I'll kind of just go over the basic two forms just real quick. There's what most hunts are, especially your one-day hunts, are your speed and drive events. They are strictly based off of how the crossing is in the pen. So I only pen hunt. I don't like outside hunts. That's a whole other topic. But as far as in your pen, so you have a certain amount of dogs in there. It's a legal limit per pen, per size and acreage and stuff like that they can have. So you have judges. So as a hunter, as somebody competing with your dog, you don't go in the pen. You have judges that have donated their time, taken time out of their day, and come to watch your dogs perform. Every dog has a number on it. usually a jacket with a number on the side of it. So for your speed and drive hunts, the judges sitting in the pen, the judges are in the pen, game comes by, comes a fox or a yoke, wherever you're at, then first dog out, second dog out, third dog, you just read the numbers out on a recorder, write them down. First place dog gets 35 points, second place dog gets 30 points, 25, 10, 25, 20, 15. And then everything after fifth is 15 points. Okay. So then at the end of the 4 hour, 5 hours, however it is, you just add up however many crossings your dog got, however many places, how many points your dog got, and the dog with the most points wins. So that style, the speed and drive style, is more just bring your fast dog, tell them to hold on to the game, keep track, keep on true, and whoever's got the fastest dog with the most crossings is going to win at the end.
That's awesome.
And then you got your HGA style, which is, I never remember the actual, what HGA stands for. I think it's highest gross average, if I remember right.
Okay.
So pretty much they break it down, and these are what your 3-day hunts are based off of. So you got 4 categories. You got hunting, trailing, endurance, and speed and drive. Judge can take and watch a dog if the running's broke down. You can watch a dog out in the field or out in the woods, wherever you're at, and if that dog is bird dogging, nose to the ground, hunting up, flipping leaves over trying to find a track, you can give that dog a hunting score. It's a certain amount of points based per hour, but you can give that dog a hunting score. Then you take, so he accumulates hunting, doing that kind of stuff. Trailing is, grand scheme of things, jumping game. It's hard to see trailing in a pen just because it's hard to get in front of the dogs. There's so many dogs in there. It's a lost category a lot of times. If you get a trailing score on a hunt, you really change the game. Then you got your speed and drive, which is what I explained earlier. It's part of that. And then you have your endurance, which is an average of your points accumulated each day. And so after you get all those points, they go into their own category, okay? You got the 4 categories. They stay in their own category. And if you're first place in that category, you get 100 points. Second place gets 90 points. Third, so on and so forth, all the way down to 10th. Then if you were first in speed, first in endurance, and first in hunting, you get 300 points. So you have 300 points HGA. Mm-hmm. That's how those work as far as your scoring and stuff goes. And then, but yeah, that's a really quick grand scheme of things on how you get scored, what you're watching for, and you got numbers on the side of the dogs, and you just watch them work and watch them run and gun and watch them hunt.
That's freaking awesome.
That sounds fun.
And you're seeing it, especially in our area with us being, in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, in the very eastern part. I'm seeing my buddies do it more and more, and I really never knew how it went, but just from the sounds of it, sounds like it's its own sport. There's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, and again, I don't know much about it, but I definitely want to know more, and I'd even like to go out and see one if there's one. Do they have them around this area? Do you know? I'm sure they got them everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Y'all shouldn't. Well, Virginia Beach, y'all are probably about hour and a half, 2 hours from an Emporia.
Yep, around there. Yes.
So, there's one there at Pools Foxhound Preserve just about every week.
Okay. Yeah,
just about every week.
Where we deer hunt's about 30 minutes from there, so
okay, I got you.
It's right around the corner. But yeah,
there's some close.
That's cool. We'll have to talk, off the camera more about it, and meet up one time.
I'd be glad to link up and show you.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Absolutely, appreciate the answer.
In the future, they'll have that on FanDuel. So, bet on.
Right. Yeah, man. With all the betting now, might as well do the hot dogs.
It can get wild. It can get wild.
I'm sure there's personal bets going on at all times there.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Short answer, yes.
A short, simple answer, yes.
There's betting going on with everything, but all right, Talon, what you got?
Yeah. Thanks for that. There's so much I don't know about that, so it's just hearing about how everything's broken down.
Mm-hmm. Cool stuff.
Definitely interesting. Oh, yeah. So when you're running dogs, do you have a certain mindset when it comes to managing bucks and does?
This differs amongst everybody. And I think it's probably the same in the still hunting community.
Yes.
You know, I don't really I can't sit still. That's one of the big reasons I dog hunt. I don't like sitting still. I cannot do it. I'm not you give me 15 minutes in a stand and I'm out. I'm out, man. So, but anyway, you know, that's beside the point. We don't necessarily put the focus on the management of horns, the management of that kind of stuff, you know, where that's how our club hunts. We're here for the dogs, we're here for the chase, and we're here to put meat on the table. We're meat hunters. If we kill a big buck, fantastic, great. Now I got to spend X amount of dollars to go mount the stupid thing, you know?
It's an expensive hobby.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you know, so but you have other clubs that have, a lot of guys run the 18-inch rule, or outside the ears, you know, that kind of thing. That's how they're managing their, you know, their growth of their bucks, which I have, have respect for. If that's how you want to hunt, then, you know, hunt like that, you know. But as far as how we do it, I mean, we're not just out there just shooting every freaking thing that we see either. You know, we abide by the law. We, you know, if it's doe season, we'll shoot some does, but we're not out there just absolutely having a freaking slaughter fest either, trying to just kill everything we see. But if a scrubby 4-point comes out in front of me and it's in a good spot and I can take the shot, I ain't killed nothing all year, you damn right I'm gonna shoot that thing. So I guess to answer your question, I guess it depends on what club you're part of, how you hunt. But as far as the way that we do it, not really. I mean, we don't, like I said, we don't go freaking crazy and shoot everything. But as far as actually trying to grow a buck or something like that, nah.
Yeah, because like you said, I mean, every club, every group of guys on a piece of property, they're all going to have kind of their own different rules and strategies. So it really differs from everybody. And just like in the rapid fire questions, you shoot those late or early. That's always a controversial one, but it's just all it all depends on where you're at, who you're hunting with, and whatever the rules are. But at the end of the day, as long as your main goal is to shoot that deer and run your dogs, it's going to be a success every time.
Gotta have some fun, right?
Exactly.
And it's and it's cool because everybody knows about all the clubs now. So like if you're looking to join a club, you can really distinguish all right, what's the goals of this club, and is this more of a shoot everything type club, or does this club, are they stricter on their buck rules, right? So you're not going in there blindsided. You pretty much know what you're getting with the clubs nowadays, right? So
right, yeah, I mean that's pretty much, yeah, I'm 100%. I mean, you got guys that fit with some clubs and you got guys that don't fit with some clubs, right. I mean, and that's all. I relate it to like cliques in school, just because you're all doing the same thing, going to school and hanging out and being around each other in gym class or whatever, doesn't mean that you're all going to play baseball. Doesn't mean you're all going to play football. We all have different ways that we like to do things and how we hunt in different styles and the way we run our dogs or the way we shoot deer. You just got to find what works for you as a hunter, as a houndsman, whatever you're doing. And work with that. And, and I'll say this too, another reason that me personally, I don't care about letting a deer grow is because if he comes out as a 16-inch 8-point, and I know next year he could be a 20-inch, 8 or a 20-inch 10 or whatever, how do I know that Joe Schmo next door is not going to shoot him?
Knowing your neighbors is important.
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, our area is full of people that don't, it's that mindset around here. I'm not saying it's toxic or nothing like that, but everybody knows it's not, I'm trying to think of the right verbiage for this. It's not a free-for-all, but it's also if you don't take advantage of the opportunity that you were given, you may not get it again. So you better take it while you got it.
I like that. I like that, because that's everywhere, especially in the state of Virginia. Like, that's why we're pretty lucky that we're pretty close to our neighbors, and we've formed a good relationship. And it doesn't mean that they tell us what we can't shoot and we tell them what we can't shoot, but it's a mutual respect. I mean, we get our kind of opinions on things, and we kind of are able to work out something where, like, hey, like, on this side of the property, if you want to keep the bucks under this certain size, then we won't shoot it, right? So again,
right.
if you don't know, like you said, you could lose out on opportunity on killing a deer, getting meat, feeding your family, right? All that is part of it.
Right.
So it's all about your surrounding area and what
right.
you're all about, right? That's the cool thing about hunting.
Yep.
All right, so we're getting to the good stuff now. Me and you talked a little bit earlier in the week, and me and Talon, we're pro dog hunters, right? We dog hunt, right? We're not, extremists and fanatics about it, but we will put in our time. And, like you said, I got a little bit of ADD too, right? At the end of the season, I'm tired of sitting there freezing my tail off for, 4 or 5 hours of hunt. I'm ready to get the action going.
Damn,
So
my ass starts getting
right.
numb. I'm
yes,
like, all right,
yes.
time to get up.
So this would be a good time to kind of, I'm going to bring up a point on the opposite side, and this is a good time for you to kind of explain your point on your side. All right.
Yeah.
So a big issue for people who are against dog hunting is dogs trespassing onto other hunters' lands, right? Obviously, we know that dogs can't read signs, right? So, that's a pretty valid point on the dog hunter side. But with the new technology and collars and the introduction of geofencing, right, do you believe that it's every dog hunter's right or obligation to try their best to keep dogs off of other people's properties?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's it. That's a loose yes.
Right. That's kind of a broad question too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So my kind of thoughts, the geofencing, I think that's a really misunderstood thing. Also, geofencing, as far as the Garmin collars, it's not a thing.
Right.
It's not. You can't set a boundary on these Garmin GPS on the Alpha. You can't set it on the all the stuff that we use. You can't set a geofence and say, okay, well it's gonna tone him, or it's gonna stimulate him when he gets to this boundary. It's
right.
not a thing.
Right.
They may have other collars out there that do such a thing, but I haven't seen them. I don't know anything about them, and if they do, I don't know any kind of range. I don't know enough about them to say that they would be effective in doing a geofence out there in public land.
Right.
Is it possible? Maybe. I don't know. But Billy Gray, that runs Outdoor Dog Supply, he actually spoke at one of the meetings with the hound dog study that's going on right now, and explained that to these guys that geofencing is not a thing. So I kind of throw that out just for the sheer fact of that's it's how do I say it's undiscovered territory as far as geofencing.
Right.
But with the GPS collars, we do know where they're at most of the time. Signals are not perfect. We hunt a lot of up and down, a lot of mountains, a lot of bottoms. Signal goes in and out. I mean, we have the best collars, the best antennas on the market, and the signal is not perfect.
Right.
So Virginia is a fence out state. I guess my biggest opinion on all of that is why are hunting dogs being discriminated against? Why is it that, my neighbor's cat can come on my land and I can't say anything about it? Why is it that the little ankle biter dog can go next door and bark in my front yard, bark at my front door, and that's not being brought up? Until it is a across the board dog trespassing, animal trespassing, any kind of thing that a landowner owns that can potentially go to somebody else's land, I don't like the idea of discriminating strictly against hunting dogs, whether it be bear, deer, anything, I don't like that idea, and I know that's the meeting that's actually happening tomorrow. That is one of the things they're trying to introduce is a dog trespass. Pretty much what it's trying to go to is what they call the Georgia rule. Georgia rule has that in play, and it put a lot of dog hunters out of business for the sheer fact it made it unaffordable.
Yeah.
Like you said, dogs can't read signs. Dogs can't read. They're going after the game. They're going after it, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. They don't know that they've crossed into Billy Bob's land, and Billy Bob don't want them there. Do we do everything in our effort if they're going that direction to stop that? Yes. I will tone, I will stimulate and pull them off the chase if they're going to go into somewhere that I know is a big no-no. Most everybody, and I think that's a big misconception too, is, it's like, I always relate it to bad grades. You could have you could have 100, and then you get a 20 on one test, and it brings your average down to in the 80s, in the 60s, 70s, whatever. I'm not doing any strict math right now, but you know what I mean. Like, it's one bad comment, one bad thing can make a perfect and beautiful thing that is done respectfully, ethically, and correctly look bad because that bad one spreads like wildfire.
That's the world
we live in, is that it's so easy to spread negativity versus the positivity. Like, there's so much stuff that houndsmen do, like benefit hunts, trash cleanup on the roads. I forget what they call it, but like your government land and stuff like that. They'll do cleanup days in government land. Like, there's so much good that the hound community does that it gets overshadowed by Billy Bob and his little 5-acre block that gets mad because some dogs ran across the back of it. But going back to the question, I kind of
no, you're good, man. You're good. This is a get it out moment. Right. Yes, it is our responsibility to do the best that we can to keep the dogs off the property. Is it 100% ever going to happen? Until geofencing is a 100% sure thing, no, it's not going to happen. I will be the one to come out and say that it is not possible. Honestly, the landowners that are after dog hunting and want it to end and want the property trespass to end, they missed their golden opportunity when GPS collars weren't a thing. That was the time to attack. Now we have GPS collars. Now we know where our dogs are a good percentage of the time. And yes, we do make every effort, and most of the time you can stop your dogs. So yes, I do think that a portion of the responsibility lies on the houndsman to keep the dogs off of the land that it's not supposed to.
It's like I'm trying to figure out where the problem is with these people that are so up in arms about it.
So I think it's two situations that we see the most. The first one's, like you said, it's your hardcore still hunter that is just a diehard. I want to hunt from the beginning of bow season to the end of shotgun season, rifle season, whatever. And I understand that. I get that. I get that you've bought land, that you've done everything that you can do to follow these deer. You got game cameras up. But, and this kind of touches back a little bit on what we talked about earlier with the management of deer. I have a real quarrel with guys that own 80 acres, 100 acres, 5 acres, and think that a deer that comes through their property is their deer.
Right.
I have a big issue with that. That's not. I mean, unless you put a collar on it and keep it in your block, then that's not your deer. That's anybody's deer. Because just because he walks through your 100 acres at 5:30 in the evening doesn't mean that he didn't spend the whole rest of the day in these other 3, 4, 5 people's land that could easily, if they wanted to, shoot it ahead of you. But I get their frustration, and we've had encounters with guys. We've had some steel hunters that are called will catch the dogs if they come through the land and threaten to shoot the dogs and say, if you don't come get your dog now, you're going to be picking up a dead dog. I'll bring you back your collar and that'll be it. And that's not right.
No, absolutely not.
Right. So I get like I said, I get the frustration, but here's my thing. We kind of touched on it earlier a little bit too. I love Virginia's system, and I get not one to bow hunt. If maybe you got stuff going on there in bow season, maybe you're not a muzzleloader guy, but you have 6 weeks before dog season starts in our area. You have 6 weeks before to hunt at your will, however you want, to manage your deer. And normally, and at least in our area, right there at the end of bow season and in muzzleloader season, usually is rut. Rut is usually deep in around our area right around that time. A lot of times we, as houndsmen, we miss rut. We don't ever get rut in our area because it usually comes in, when that first frost hits at the, middle of October, somewhere around in there. It's usually when that rut comes on in and comes in full swing, and it's usually back out by time houndsmen get their chance to go after it. We might get a weekend, but in our area, I can't speak for the whole state, because rut changes, wherever you're at, even if it is just within the state. You have the prime time to be hunting. Pick up a bow, pick up a crossbow, or you can use a crossbow. Pick up a muzzleloader, get good with your muzzleloader. Get your hunting in that you want to be left alone and not have any chance of disturbance of dog in those 6 weeks. And then if you still want to hunt after that, you take your chances. If you don't like it, put a fence up. I mean, that's just, I know that's kind of blunt, but with Virginia being a fence out state and an open leash law state, what's the difference between my hound dogs coming through running and your neighbor's chocolate lab coming through just because he felt like going out and exploring that day? There's no difference. Are you going to shoot your neighbor's dog because he accidentally stumbled across your stuff?
No, that's
just
next level messed up right there.
Right. I mean, and I've had to, I'm one of the officers of my hunting club, so a lot of times I'm the one that has to go and calm those situations down, and it takes a lot to calm them down and get an understanding. But if you take the time, and that's what I preach to houndsmen, if you take the time and go and talk to these guys and find some kind of common ground, a lot of times you can find some kind of meet in the middle with landowners, and you can really explain, hey, look, this is what we're doing. We weren't even trying to be over here. They got on a freak buck that, bucks run in a straight line. So this buck he grabbed the gear and hauled tail, and that's where we ended up. And we tried to keep him from going over there. And I'm sorry that the one time it messed up your hunt. We do apologize. We'll make it right. If you want us to bring some meat, we'll bring you some meat, whatever you want to do to make it right. And then to follow up the second part, you also have a lot of guys that have a dog hatred because they come from up north. They don't know. Call them Yankees, call them whatever you want, call them city slickers, call them New Yorkers, Jersey, however you want to name it, whatever you want to call them. It's a lot, and that's just the God's honest truth. You got a lot of guys that are coming to Virginia or whatever your state is and moving in and have never seen dog hunting before, not experienced it, and then they're out there on their back porch trying to enjoy the birds chirping in the night, and then in the morning in the dew, and next thing you know, I hear a pack of damn dogs coming through, and driving a government goat through their backyard. Not necessarily through the backyard, you don't really ever see that, but you know what I mean, just on the back 40 or whatever you want to call it, they hear it disturbs them, and they have a hatred, so they don't know it. One thing that we strive for at our club is if we get somebody that moves in that we've never seen before, is we go knock on their door. Hey, I'm James Hudson. I'm a member of Reedy Creek Hunting Club. We dog hunt here. You're kind of in a surrounding area. I just want to take a few minutes and explain what we're doing. We're not here to harm. We're not here to disturb your day. Our dogs are not going to hurt you, and their dogs are not going to disturb whatever animals that you have in your backyard. Let's get an understanding. I'd love to take you one day and show you what it is, what it's all about. And a lot of times that goes a long way, and you get left the hell alone if you just introduce yourself and explain what it is, instead of middle of season, you got a hunter sitting at their end of their driveway, on the ditch line trying to catch dogs. And they're like, oh my God, these people are crazy. What are they doing? So I think that's your two people that really, that cause the most issues is the misunderstood and the guys that are avid still hunters and don't want to get messed up.
I mean, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, like, there's not much to complain about anyway. So I feel like those people that are, like, that's one of maybe two things that they can complain about out there. They're just.
And what do we call it? So me and Talon call it, we get the best of both worlds. In Virginia. Right. Like, that's what we say. And you sure you didn't open up my questions beforehand? Because I swear you just answered every single part of my next question.
I did. I finally got it to open up right before we started recording this. Yeah.
That's perfect, because you answered it. And, we'll finish with this. Obviously, and like you pointed out earlier when you were answering the question, the weather can change dramatically. Like, if you're on the east part of the state versus the west part of the state, the weather is dramatically different, right? Mm-hmm. So I tried to come up with a question at the end that, I felt, I tried to go on the still hunter side for a little bit and come up with something personally maybe that, either bothered me or, maybe I agreed with. And this was really the only thing that I could think of. But, I just wanted to get your opinion. I'm not just going to say it to you. I'm going to kind of come up with a compromise and see if maybe you would agree with it. So here in the eastern part of Virginia, we've got some warmer weather, all right? And it stays warm through October. Like, we're seeing later and later ruts every year. And I don't know if it's global warming. I don't know if it's just kind of how they act around here, right? But we're seeing, and I know it's changed because I hunted as a kid, and it was, you could get running activity middle to late October. Now it seems like it's heading more toward the second week of November into third and fourth week. So, you mentioned it. That first week of dog season, and I know it changes everywhere, but where we hunt, it's normally that November 14th to 15th date or that weekend, right? So a lot of times, I know this past year, here, the rut was in full swing, right? So a lot of still hunters, they wait all year for that kind of 2-week period of being able to get giants on their feet running around like they're does, right? So what would you say to, if for some reason, people agreed on, okay, like, obviously we don't want to cut dog hunters short, right? We want you to get every single day you can in, right? And we don't want to, lessen your days. What would be your opinion on pushing dog season back a week, right? And extending 1 week into January? I know you run into the problem of shedding, right? But what would be your opinion on that? And would that be a reasonable compromise, not just to me, but to people that think the same thing?
Man, that's tough. I would like to see. I'd like to see the tail end of season extended back because, like you said, it seems like the early season for us, it stays warm. I mean, just golly, man, it stays warm so long. And, I mean, you're losing, I hate being cold. God, I hate being cold.
It sucks.
I don't know why I'm a hunter sometimes. I hate being cold, man. But I mean, literally, I would remember being in shorts in December, and short sleeve shirts, I've been saying for a while that I'd like to see the tail end of our season. Yeah, you take the chance of horn shedding and stuff like that.
But you're not seeing it now until late. Like, we've got cell cameras, and most deer are not shedding by January 6th or 7th, right? We still have deer with horns now, right? So, like you said, there might be a freak thing, right, to where, it'd be bad luck if one of your big bucks dropped, right? but majority no, right? So like you would be fine doing it, right? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the extending on the tail end, yes, I would like to see that. But here's, and actually, I'm kind of glad you brought this up. This is kind of neat. I did a podcast with a guy down in Florida here recently, and the way they do their season is I forgot what they called it, but they have a week that is, I want to say it's the beginning of, I think it's the first week in November. And it's something like that. But they get a week where dog hunters can run. And then they take a break again for 2 weeks and then pick it back up either the week after Thanksgiving or the first week of December or something like that. Now, if the rut continues to migrate that way and later into November, I would be okay with something like that of giving us a week early, like maybe the first week of December. I mean, not December, November, excuse me. And then we could take a week or two off and then pick it back up and give us a late week at the end of it. I feel like that would be a fair compromise. That way we get a little time in the potential of a early rut, and your still hunters that are diehard that don't want to miss rut, and I completely understand that, also get their chance to get after those rut deer.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, again, there's obviously, if something were to change, it'd have to be fair on both sides, right? Like this is, I feel like dog hunting and non-dog hunting are like politics now. Like, you either love them or hate them, which I think is so stupid, right? Like you said, you just got to talk to people. Like, we had, and I'll be the first to say this, we had some bad taste in our mouth with our club beside us for years, but we never really talked to them. It was just certain little encounters, right? Now they come over and they hunt our land with us, right? Like there's benefits to everything, and you just have to communicate, right? Communication is everything. But there's always
correct. And sorry.
No, go ahead.
And one thing that I think a lot of still hunters, I want to make sure anybody that is listening to this that is an avid still hunter, if you are hunting during dog season and dogs are running a buck or whatever across your land and you're hunting, shoot it. Shoot the deer. We don't care. We want the satisfaction. I want to know that my dogs that I raise, that I feed, that I train, kill, push that deer to somebody and somebody shot that deer. That's what I want. That's my goal as a houndsman. I'm a little different than a lot of hunters. I really could give a shit less if I killed another deer the rest of my life. I really could care less. My goal is to drive these hounds. I love the sound of the hound. I love the satisfaction of pushing a deer to somebody and somebody getting excited. And I've had my dogs push a first buck to somebody, and just the sheer joy of that, I'm like, man, my dogs did that. Like that meant more to me than any buck I could ever shoot, I mean, don't get me wrong. If old moose comes out and I shoot a big moose, yes, I'm happy as a clam. I want my dogs to be running it though. Yeah. Like I'm that kind of person. That's why I competition hunt. I'm competitive. I want to have the best dogs. I want to have the best dogs in my club. I want to have the best dogs around. And I want the satisfaction of my dogs driving a deer to somebody. That's my end goal with that. But yeah, like you said, communicate with some of these guys. And if you're still hunter, talk to these dog hunters. I guarantee you almost all the dog hunters are going to say, yes, if the dogs drive one across your land, please shoot it. Mm-hmm. For one, we want the chase to end because obviously they're getting where they're not supposed to be anyway. Right. So that ends the chase. That ends it. That ends all questions about it. We get our dogs back. You get the deer. It's a win-win situation. It's time to go. But no, that's kind of my opinion on that,
Yeah, that's a great answer. I feel like that's a good way to conclude this. I know I learned a lot tonight and talented too, and I'm excited to post this. Eventually it's going to be a while, but let me touch on something real quick too. Yes. I was listening. I told you I was going to pop quiz you a little bit. Absolutely.
I think it was episode 2. Y'all were talking about the deer coming back and it may be gone for a long time. A buddy of mine wrote a book, and it's called Deer Hunting with Dogs. It's a Southern Tradition is the full name. You can get it on Amazon. If you're over in Eastern Virginia, he actually lives close to over there, and you can actually hit him up, and you can get that book from him. But they did studies. They collared these deer. They and did put GPS trackers on these deer, and did a dog study on these things, and turned dogs loose. And I think it was, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, it was like 90-something% of the deer were back in the same block by the next morning.
That's cool.
Wow.
They come right back.
Yeah.
I mean, we've casted and ran a big buck out of a block in the morning on the first chase, went back to that block later that day and ran that same buck again.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They are very territorial, and I think that's something that's a big misconception that I like to put out there for people, is that deer normally are going to come back. They're going to come back. Yeah, we may drive them for a while, but we're not driving them to the next county. They're not going to get lost. They know where they come from. Animals have great instincts. They're going to come back to the block that they were at.
Shit,
And
sometimes
that's
they
just one
don't
of the
even
big things
leave.
that I want to put out there.
Yeah, shoot. Sometimes,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you get this all the time. They're so smart. They know how to kind of get around the dog sometimes, right? They just bounce around in thickets, and we can talk about that another time, because these deer.
I was gonna say I got 2 stories on that, but I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. But I got stories on that, man.
We're gonna have you on again, and and hopefully we get to meet you in person sometime. But
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, that's a great fact to know. Like, that should give people some relief. Like, if dogs did come into your plot and ran a couple deer out, like, there's a good chance they'll come back, right? I mean, that
Right.
again, like you said, they're territorial animals. They're very smart. They know their surroundings. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. And look, we do talk about, and I wouldn't say we're super educated on all the facts about, what happens to deer when they're run, right? So I love the constructive criticism of like, hey, like, you brought this up, but I've got a point that can kind of back that, and not
Right.
only back it, but kind of satisfy your wants of like, hey, like that deer that you've been, seeing and growing and feeding, he's back, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
that's
And that book is full of that, man. And I don't think it's been like $14 on Amazon. And I really do promote it, because he did an excellent job of not just writing. He does a great job of explaining what deer hunting with dogs is, but there's a whole section in there that just had statistics that he dove into and provided for everybody out there, that you don't have to go looking for these things. And it's good for both dog hunters and people that want to understand dog hunting and maybe have some misconceptions. It's a great book. I really suggest people that if you want to understand dog hunting and maybe have a new perspective on it, just get it and read it.
It sounds good. I'll definitely be making a purchase here, probably tonight, because that sounds. I'm super interested in that stuff. The more you can learn,
Awesome.
the better.
And it's not hunting season. I gotta
We're bored, right? I mean, we gotta
Right?
find another hobby.
That's why I
right?
competition hunt. I got all year long now.
That's why we started a dang podcast, right? What else are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
But man, that was awesome. We'll conclude it at that. But again, just listen to your stuff and what you're doing with the podcast industry and growing a following, and just looking at your interactions on there. It's amazing. Like when you go on a live, like how many people are commenting and watching. Like people share that too. So you're getting to a big group of people. So we wish you the best of luck with that too, and maybe we can merge one time and have a podcast together and talk about some different stuff. And
Yeah, man.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. I'd love to do that. I love opportunities like that. Any chance I can get to promote ethical dog hunting and put it in a positive light, I want to take advantage of it. I promise you that. So yeah, I'd be 100% down with that.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. If we don't talk to you in the near future, good luck with all your competitions, and we'll stay in touch. But maybe we'll have to catch a hunt together once or twice. We got plenty of land here, and maybe we'll come up there and visit you for a weekend. I'd love to talk about that more. So we'll.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I appreciate y'all having me, and I really enjoy what y'all are doing, and I think y'all are doing a really good thing here, and I appreciate the chance to use y'all's platform as well to promote ethical dog hunting and put it in a positive light. So I really do thank y'all for that. I really do enjoy watching and listening to y'all's podcast, and y'all keep it up.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Hopefully by next year we can both look at this video and kind of laugh and go, look where we're at now versus where we're at here, right? That's
Right.
taking it day by day, right?
Maybe we'll both have a studio to be in by then.
Yeah. Instead of my best friend's bedroom, right?
Right.
It all pans out. But man, I appreciate it. You have a good night. All right, tell the wife we said hello, and we'll
Absolutely.
talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
And have a good one.